it's Teresa here with another quick project. I'm going to call it a moving house project. That's all going very well. The furniture's gone. I'm now in quite an empty flat. I've got a couple of weeks here by myself, but the move has actually happened, but all my craft stuff has gone, all but odds and ends that I found scattered, which doesn't amount to more than a carrier bag of stuff. So I'm quite limited in what I've got to use. So the projects that I'm going to do as sort of the transition projects between here and the new house are going to be quite short and maybe a bit limited in resources as well. Well, this one is going to be a quick project, and when I say quick, I probably mean about 45 minutes long, round about them, but not the very long projects that I normally do. Now, this was intended for an exhibition. Now, the exhibition remit, or the specification, was to recycle a garment and embellish it. Now, I chose to do this to take an old denim jacket that I bought in a charity shop for this purpose, and it's a black old, really old, because it's lost a lot of its colour, although now you can buy them like this, can't you? But I think mine is like it because it was old. So I bought this and decided to upcycle it, and this is what you're looking at the moment. This is the back of it. Now, this piece of work was executed, but it wasn't submitted because I forgot to send it in time. I know, all that hard work, and I missed the deadline. So here it is. But I always intended to do a lesson on this. Never got round to it because I've attached the jacket to a skirt, a multicoloured layered skirt here, so it's very bohemian looking actually, and I haven't actually finished the skirt, but one day I will. I haven't done it yet, but I keep saying I will do it. Now, I've used this as an inspiration for a second jacket. I'm not going to finish the second jacket because this took quite a while. I mean, as I said, this is only the back. That is a panel actually. That's a panel. But it did take a long time to do. But I'm not going to finish the second jacket that we're about to do as a project now because I haven't got the resources. I haven't got the equipment. So I'm just, as I said, I'm just using what is actually here in front of me, and that doesn't amount to very much actually. So I'm going to present an idea. This is basically an idea, something you can do with an old garment. This is really easy. This is really easy, and it's really good fun. I'm going to finish or complete half of the front of the jacket. So that is actually, what side am I doing? I'm doing the right side of the jacket, or is it the left? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm doing either the left or the right side of the denim jacket that I've got, and it'll give you an idea, as I said, of what you can do. The second half of the jacket will be worked in the same way, and the back will eventually be worked like this. Okay, there's no rush for me to finish it now because it's not going to be exhibited in anything. It will just become a teaching aid, possibly like this one now. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. It's something different. As I said, it is an idea, but it's also practical as well. So it's something that you can carry out Why I say it's an idea, because I haven't actually finished it, but the idea is there of how you would finish it. I hope that made sense and wasn't too garbled. So anyway, we crack on, see what we come up with, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Okay, so once again, grab your tea or your coffee and your scone or your cake or your crisp bread, and put your feet up and just enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to start with this side of the jacket. It's actually the right side, but the left side is exactly the same. They're a mirror image of each other. This part here is a skirt. The skirt isn't finished yet, but I'm going to run through what you can see on the screen. Now here at the top, I've cut away the yoke, the denim yoke that was there, and I've lined it with some red fabric. Now I've run the red fabric down here, right down the side, because I also cut that part away as well, and I've put a navy blue lace there. I thought it was here. Navy blue lace down here, and you can see the red peeping through. So we've got the red here underneath white lace, blue, and red here underneath the blue. We also cut away a section here on the side, and once again that has the same lace as this one, but this time I haven't lined it, I've just left it. Now what have I done around the edge? Now round the shape, round the sleeve and down the side here, which is just out of shot, down the side here and all the way around here, I have done running stitch or slow stitch. So that's the front band there. I'll make this a little bit bigger, and then you might get a better idea. There we go. So I cut away that yoke and I've put sewing along there. Now these are being machine sewn, but you can just as well do it with hand sewing, and then lined it the inside quite neatly as well, because that will be seen. And then the lace here and then the lace there, done exactly the same to the other side. Now the sleeves, I cut a whole whack of fabric away. I just make this a bit smaller now so I can get the sleeves in. This is really difficult because it's so big. I've cut out, I found the centre of this top sleeve here. Where are we on the screen? Found the top centre here along the front of the sleeve there, and I cut out a symmetrical, it's the same the other side, so it's a symmetrical shape, and it's quite a large shape as well. And if you can see, I cut that out and I just put in, inserted a piece of lace that was slightly bigger than the piece that I cut out. Now it was slightly bigger for obvious reasons, because I included the seam allowance. So that once again has been machine sewn in place, and I just made a fancy cuff there, and that was quite easy to do. Fancy cuff, and lined it with red to match the red of the yoke. So the two sleeves have been done the same. Now I have to turn this very carefully because the skirt still has pins attached. Now this is the back. The back is all applique. So if I can make this bigger, let's make that a bit bigger. Well, it actually looks nicer in front of me than it does on the screen. So the back yoke, you can just bear with me. I'll see if I can get it in the right way. Right, so that is the back yoke along here. Haven't cut anything away from this, It's applique. It's applied, a piece of lace that's been applied. And I think those of you that have been with the group forever will recognise some of these that I've used from the same piece of lace, not from this, but from another piece of lace, the same. I've taken these off and used them in other places. So that yoke, and I believe that was, I think I've hand sewn that. Oh no, I haven't. No, that's machine sewn. But please don't forget, you can hand sew it with a small back stitch, a decorative stitch like a chain stitch, or cross stitch, or you can do the slow stitch, the running stitch. And you can see here I've picked out areas of red running stitch, and it was to secure this large shape to the background. So I've actually secured it in a decorative way. I've done single rows there and then double rows here, and I think that looks really nice. So that stops there, and then underneath, the panel directly underneath, so the back panel is applied once again, and it's applied with a really beautiful piece of lace that matches the front lace and the sleeves. But in that stash of lace, there was just one centre motif like this, and this was it. So I've applied that, machine sewn that all the way around the centre back panel, and then I've done exactly the same as I did here with the running stitch, and I've used green, red and brown on a pink, and I've picked out some area. Well, first of all, I've gone all the way around the basic shape, and that once again, like the yoke, is supposed to hold it down to the background. So that's all running stitch, and then I've gone around some of the petals. I've gone around all the petals here in running stitch. It's all running stitch. The stitches that you can see are all running stitch, and I believe I've used 3 or 4 strands of thread in that, and that is quite lovely. And of course it joins the skirt at the bottom. I won't show you the skirt because it isn't finished. Well, the whole thing isn't finished really, but I need to get another little project out quickly while I set up things in the new house, and I thought this will be ideal. I was waiting to finish it, but there's no point in waiting, is there? Nothing really is going to change. Right, the two back sides are done in exactly the same. They're both identical. There's that one. Same raised lace, machine embroidered with beads. Let me make that bigger. Oh, something else. Oh, there it is. This is just so big for the table that I can't fit it all in, and I'm losing things like the mouse. Right, so that's the detail there. That's rather gorgeous, and there are beads here. Now at the side, underneath the arm, here, there's it underneath the arm, the sleeve. I've put some running stitch there in the same colours that I used on the big panel. So that's pink, brown, green, yellow. I don't know if I mentioned yellow before, and just worked several lines of slow stitch or running stitch. So that is the back. The sleeves are the same, and I think that is all there is to it. So for maximum effect, it really is minimum but enjoyable effort. I don't think there's anything else I've done. What am I looking at there? No. So that is it. So I've used Stitchery, as in running stitch, and Applique, and cut work with reverse applique. and then just basic cut work like this. So what I'm going to do now is carry out some of these details on another jacket that I've got to do, and I won't do that whole jacket because this is just a brief project, something really to tie us over between sort of the transition period. I'm still in the flat, everything's gone, all but my PC, TV, a makeshift bed. I'm still here, so I can stay here for another 3 weeks before I have to move out. But everything went yesterday, and oh my goodness, it's horrendous. No, it didn't go yesterday, it went the day before. Oh gosh, it was one of the longest days of my life. But thank goodness for my sons, my partner and his son. You know, it was all done within 6 hours. So anyway, enough of that. The point I was trying to make, and then I got sidetracked. I'm just going to make that smaller, bring that down, I mean. Oh, and that weighs a ton. That really weighs a ton. So I'm going to start on this jacket. I bought this very, very cheaply, either from eBay or from a local charity shop. And it was just for a few pounds. And this, I'm using this, it was intended for another project, but I thought, well, I'm not going to have time to do the other project at the moment, so I might as well start the project here. Now I think the first thing that I might do, maybe a yoke. I think I'm going to do the yoke. Where are we? Here. So before I start that, I need to find some fabric that I'm going to put behind the cutout piece. So I've managed to find some more lace. This is the same lace that I've got on the sleeves of the last jacket I showed you. And I've cut out a piece here, just the size of the yoke. And here it is. Right, let's see how this bit goes. So that will go on there, but what I need to do first is to cut this yoke out. Now I've just made a little start there with some fine scissors. I just broke in with these little scissors here just to make it easier. Now unfortunately all my scissors are packed away as well, and I'm left with these really blunt things, but I need just to cut the yoke out, and it's quite a big thing to do actually, to almost in your head you're ruining the jacket and your head's screaming, no, don't cut, what you doing? But you'll be surprised how it does look. Right, so nearly done that. All the way around, done. And there's the piece, the yoke that I've cut out, and there's the lace that's going to replace it. So where are we? Yes, definitely go on there. Lovely. Now I'm not sure whether to put the lace over the top this time. I'm not sure whether to do it this way. I didn't do it this way last time. I put it under. Hang on, that bit goes there, that's it. I'm not sure whether to do it on the top, and that way I'll get rid of all these rough, raggy bits, which really doesn't matter on the jeans today, or do it underneath. Let me make this bigger, and then you'll have a view on what I'm doing. See, that is it underneath, but you can see here I've got the seam allowance showing there, which I really don't want to cut into because of weakening the whole structure of the arm. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to keep that in shape as much as possible, and I'm going to put this on top. Now there is a right and a wrong side. Can you see that? How lovely that is. That's quite beautiful. Now I cut this to shape. Let's work out a shape. There we go. I think that's the shape there. Now any trimming can be done after it's been sewn on. So now I'm going to pin this in place all the way around with these awful pins, and then after I've pinned it I will tack it in place. So before I start the actual stitchery, I'm going to tack it, tack it or baste it, as some of you know it as. So that's now been tacked in. It's already taking shape. I think I might just trim that because that bit there is really overlapping and that will just get in the way. So I'll just trim some of that off around there. I'm not going to throw that little piece because that is really lovely. Alright, so put that to one side. That's more like it. So there we are. I'll just pop something underneath, let's see, and then you'll get an idea. There. So that's the first yoke tacked. Now I'm going to start the running stitch, and I'm using a nice pink thread, and it's 3 strands with a nice knot in the back, in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is start from the back, hide the knot in the seam allowance underneath somewhere where it's not going to show on the back or the front, and then come through to the front and follow the shape of the hole, okay, or the gap. So just follow the shape all the way around. You can feel that with your fingers. If your lace or your fabric is too thick to see through, then you can follow it with your finger all the way around. So you're just picking up little pieces of the denim, and you're going to run these running stitches all the way around, and it is on the top of the jacket. I did decide to do it on the top, and this is what I'm going to do to both sides. So all the way around, you see that already. I might do maybe two rows of this. Now I didn't do this on the other one. I don't think I did running stitch around the yokes. Done. The sewing on there's been done now. I did was 2 rows of running stitch, one in pink and one in like a bluey green. Let's have a look there. You can see round there. Okay, now the next thing to do is trim the overhanging fabric, like here, the excess fabric that we don't need. So with a nice pair of scissors, which these are not, I'm going to just trim that all the way around, close to the sewing but not too close, not close that so I'm going to break it. Now if I had my sewing machine here, I would have sewn this with the machine, and then I would have put the sewing on the top. But I have to say, the 2 rows of running stitch have really secured this. So if you haven't got a sewing machine, the running stitch works just as well. make them smallish, not too small that you don't see them, smallish and close together, and that'll do lovely. That is a nice big bit there to come off. Trim that. Now, as I said, the other side will be done exactly the same, but I'm not going to do that at the moment because I want to save time. So I should just do this side, concentrate on this side. There. So that's done. I'll put some white paper underneath, and there you can see the yoke. So you could actually put something behind there. At the moment I'm not going to, but it would be quite easy to put fabric behind there. Now the next part I'm going to cut away is, I think, might be this panel here. Or do I want to cut two panels? Let me turn that round. I think the next one might be that panel there, and I'll probably leave those panels, so I'll just cut that one away. Let's make sure. Yeah, I think I'll just cut that one away. So once again I'm going to do exactly the same as I did for this one. I'll make that a bit smaller. Oh, it's quite a bit smaller. Right, so right, where's the pocket? The pocket is there. I want to avoid that. So make a little hole there. Oh, I think I might just stick to these scissors and cut that panel out. There, now I'm going to go around the shape of the pocket here. Lovely. And just trim off that excess seam allowance here on the pocket. We don't need all that showing. I think I'm going to use these scissors. Ooh, I'm not, they're not sharp enough. So just that little bit of excess fabric there. Around there, and that is lovely. And that's without cutting into the pocket. Yeah, so now we're left with a really nice panel, nice shape there to fill in, and we can do that with the lace that we've already got here. This one I might do behind. I might do it behind. I might even do it with some other lace. So I might go and have a look now to see what other lace I've got. If not, if I can't find any with the bits I've got left behind, I'll use this. Actually, that's quite nice with a white backing. So after I've done this, I might have to re-look, reassess, maybe pop in fabric behind it. Anyway, I'll go off now and I shall make a start on the panel, bearing in mind I'm going to do this treatment is exactly the same as I did for this one. Well, as you can see by looking on the screen, I haven't done this the same way as I did the yoke. I've used the same lace, but I'm using a different technique to insert the lace. What I've done, where this lace went on the top over the cut, this one I've put underneath. Now the pink is just a book, so you can see what I'm doing. So I've put, let me put that book back. I put the lace over the gap here, and I've tacked all the way around here, and I've started putting a blanket stitch around the edge. to strengthen it and also to stop any fray that might go on here. I couldn't do a running stitch because the needle that I'm using, and any needle that I picked up and tried, just wouldn't go through this thick denim seam, because there's about, what, 4 layers there. It's a run and fill seam, as you know, so there are about 4 layers there, and it just wouldn't go through. So I've just had to clip the inside of the seam. It hasn't gone all the way through, but it has gone through the first 2 layers of this seam, so it's quite secure and it's quite neat actually. A little blanket stitch. So I've gone round that side, down here, and I'm just coming up here now. I'm still not sure whether I'd like to put something behind it. I've just got some little cushions here for something else, but you see that looks quite nice. I mean, I know it's the wrong way round, but even a patterned fabric. So I really will have another look at whether I'm going to leave these bare, so to speak, or line them. But just for the time being, I'm going to carry on around the edge with the blanket stitch. Now, we've all done blanket stitch before, so I'm not going to do the great big demonstration. It must get really boring for some of you though, who see the big demonstration time after time after time. So I expect you all know how to do this now. Now this is all I'm going to do all the way around until it meets up here at the you can't see, till it meets up at the beginning along here. And then I don't know whether to start the slow stitching or to maybe line these pieces. We'll see how it goes, see how the mood takes me at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on and do this. I found some nice blue fabric and I've decided that I'm going to put that behind the lace, and I think that just adds something nice to it. I'm going to use the cutout pieces, so that piece from there and that piece from the yoke. I'm going to use those as templates and cut around them. Now I've already done this one, so that one is for the yoke. See if I can fit that in the screen, so I'll make that smaller. Lovely. So that one will go that way, and now there's just a little bit of edge in there to allow for me to turn it under I mean. So this will all be turned under, trimmed and turned under, and the same with this one. So I'm going to put this one there and just cut it out, and I'm going to cut it along the fold there, and that will just make it a little bit easier to sew it down. Unfortunately it's not wide enough here for me to just fold that half, this half here, so it seems like I'm going to waste this amount of fabric, but I won't, because it will be used for something. So let me just pin this like so, and then I'm just going to cut around it. Where's my scissors? There they are. I cut around it and just leave some edging, just so I can turn that under, so it gives the inside of the jacket a nice neat look, because there won't be any raw edges from the blue fabric, the flowery fabric I should say, because it's all blue. There won't be any raw edges showing there. And now that is very big, but that can be trimmed as I go along. Now what I'll do is just turn this round. It's easier for me to work this way. Turn that round there like so, make that a little bit bigger now so you can see what I'm doing. Move that down, that's lovely. Now all I should do is pop this over there. And a lot of this is done with touch from the other side, but that's okay. I think we're quite used to doing that, aren't we? Now I'm going to just pin it along here. Right, so I'm going to line up that nice fold with the edge there. Actually it's that way up because that bit's wider. The top bit that up there is wider and that little bit's been cut wider. So I'm just going to line that up there. So edge to edge along there, and that's the nice fold, so it doesn't need folding under. Right, let's bring that down a little bit there, and I'll pin in the centre just to hold it in place while I tack under. Now I think I've got a few more pins here somewhere. I've really had to look high and low for these pins. I can't believe my box with my immediate, shall we say, sewing things that I always use went out with the removals. I can't believe that. So all my precious stuff is gone and I'm down to just using these bits that I found that fortunately didn't go. Right, now that's going to be turned under there. So at that edge there, this is getting a bit heavy now and awkward to move about. That bit there, I'm just going to turn that under. Not so much that the fold peeps through the lace. So just got to, just a tiny amount, that's probably less than 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to pin that. Well, I'm going to try to pin it there. Lovely. And I'm going to do the same. Make sure that's not too tight now. No, that's lovely. I'm going to do the same, not that edge because that's a lovely edge there, that's nice fold, and then I'm just going to put a pin or two along here to hold that in place. Right, which is lucky, a pin or two, I've got 2 there. So because I didn't want 3, so that, oh, it's really tough. That is so tough to get through. And another one here, and I'm going to tack that down. Now after I've tacked it all the way around, oh, I've bent that pin. After I've tacked it all the way around, I'm going to do a little slip stitch. You could do any stitch that you wanted really, but I'm going to do a little slip stitch along all the way around to hold it down. Some people call it a hem stitch, others call it a slip stitch. There is a specific technique called hem stitch, which isn't what we're going to do here, but as I say, some people do call it hem stitch. You might know slip stitch as hem stitch, all the way around here. So that is my next. I won't do all this on the screen. You know what tacking or basting is. I'm going to baste that all the way around there, and then slip stitch all the way around there. You could do a tiny running stitch or a nice decorative cross stitch, blanket stitch, any stitch that you wanted. If you think the inside of your jacket's going to show a lot, you might want something decorative. But I'm just, for the sake of argument, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and as soon as I've done that, I'll get back. I'm going to do this and the yoke, and then I'll get back. So this is the front panel and the yoke. They're finished with the hem stitching and the lining. I'm just very carefully going to open it up so you can see how they're looking and how nice and neat they are. I don't expect you can see the hem stitching. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm frightened to move it because everything's going to slip off. The hem stitching or the slip stitching is all the way around the shapes to give it a nice neat finish. The middle pins are still there holding the lace in place, because now the next thing I'm going to do is to just pick out some areas in running stitch. So on the yoke and the centre piece, as on the last jacket or the finished jacket that I showed you, I picked out some shapes. Actually, there's not many shapes here on that piece, but there's quite a few up there, and I'm just going to go round them, probably with the colours that I've already used, the pink and the green. I might introduce another colour, I'm not sure, but that's my next task. Now I'm going to use 3 strands of embroidery silk, and I also use this 3 strands as well to do the slip stitch around the lining in the inside. So that'll be the next thing I do, and that's going to be quite a nice task. Now I did play back, I've played back the previous part of the filming, and I'm aware now that because this room is empty, I mean it still has the carpet, and it has this, my computer area, which is quite substantial. It has a rug and the TV, 2 chairs, but that's all it has. A couple of pictures on the wall that I haven't taken down yet, but it is empty, and I can tell by the echo in the sound that it's empty. So I hope you haven't picked up on the echo, the sort of echo you do get in an empty room, and if you have, I do apologise. It's the only way that I can do this until I actually make the move 100%. Okay, which would be in the next week or so, probably after Easter. Okay, but anyway, apart from that, I'm now going to carry on with the running stitch or the slow stitch, whatever you want to call it, on top of the lace. Okay, so the running stitch has been done, and this is quite random. It isn't following any particular shape or line, it's just going backwards and forwards across the yoke. On the pocket I've added some lace, and that was a tiny bit I found in the bedroom in a box that hasn't gone yet. And that was all that I had, that little bit there and this piece here, so that was a lucky find. I cut the shape of the pocket, and I've put a running stitch all the way around it to hold it in place. Now you can also see cross stitch here, 3 strands in white, just to outline where the pocket finishes, and I've also added cross stitch. Let's straighten that up a little bit. I've also added cross stitch along here, which is the actual shape of the pocket, and that is in a burgundy, although on the screen that is looking brown. So that's burgundy, it's a nice red, and 2 rows here within the 2 lines of stitching of the jeans seam. God, that took a bit of doing to say the jeans seam. I'm just going to move that up just slightly. So that is one insertion. The insertion on the other side of the jacket will be exactly the same. Now at this point, because I want a short project, and it was just to show you what you can do with a denim jacket, how you can upcycle it. I don't know whether to finish here or to carry on with just a few rows here of running stitch. Now if this was going to be a big project, I would actually remove this panel here and put another insertion there, but I think that might have to wait for another day, another time. That looks a bit wonky there, but I think it's how I've placed it down here. I might just finish it off with a few rows of running stitch along here. I'll have a look and I'll see how it goes, whether it needs something more. I know the other jacket was highly decorated, but as I said, this is just an idea of what to do and how to go about altering your jacket. And it doesn't have to be a denim jacket, it could even be a cardigan. It's just so easy to add bits, insertions, take bits out, put fabric behind, add fabric and stitchery, add lace, and you've got a new garment. So anyway, I will hang it for a while just to see whether I need perhaps some white, to bring some white down here. Just a few rows of white. I'm tempted to do some applique. I apologise about my nails, but whenever I do this with a certain needle, the needle, and it's the long needle, always catches my nail varnish and lifts it up. Yeah, even a little bit of, I say applique, but then I'm really stuck for fabric now. Anyway, I'll have a think and I'll get back to you as soon as I've made a decision. I'm going to call this finished now. I did add applique. I'll move this up very slowly so you can see what I did. I think you saw the lace there before, but I put some more lace, the same lace that I put on the yoke and the centre panel. I put the remainder of it here. There's just enough to do the other side. So I applied it here. It's applique and it's being applied on top of the denim here and here. And then I did a couple of rows of running stitch or slow stitch in some of the shapes here and some of the shapes here. And that is all I've done. I think at the moment I need to finish it there, and I need to do the other side to see then what needs to be done. That's going to be left plain, because otherwise it's going to be far too over the top, and these will be left plain as well, these shapes here, just to provide a little bit of calmness. But if I hold it up, you can see how that glistens, that part of the jacket. And this is the original one. I'll just put that up again if you can see it. So they are two very, very different jackets. Personally, I think I prefer this one. Perhaps it's because I had more resources to use. Everything wasn't boxed up. My craft stuff was where I knew it to be. I knew where everything was. So this one's very different, and I actually like as well all the running stitch along there, and the peephole bit. The applique is the same lace, but I applied this on a red background. Or did I? No, it's not applique, is it? That's a lining. That's a lining. So I take that back. But the effect is basically the same. So that is this one, and of course the back is here as well, and the sleeves. On the one that I'm doing at the moment, I would do the sleeves the same, but I haven't got enough of this lace, so I'd have to use something else. But I would split the sleeve and put an insert there as well. So now I will have two of these, but as I say, I do prefer the one I've just shown you. But this was or is an idea of what you can do. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. It's very quick. It's another little filler to see me over the house move and the settling in and everything, which I can see by the state of the house that I'm going to. There's going to be quite a few fillers, I think, because it's a mess. It's in a mess. Okay, that actually looks really nice. I like that. I like that effect there. But I'm not too sure about this effect here, funnily enough. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing it. It didn't take too long. Not too long at all. So do give it a go. But try it out first on something you're not very fond of. So if it goes wrong, you won't mind. Okay. Okay, so that's a bit of a warning. And I feel my throat's going now. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, everyone. Keep safe. Bye.